if we talk about how we should be finding mentors, within the cloud industry or something like that, then again, this is like, more generic, that you can always start with your existing network, right? Past bosses or your current, people who are higher up in the chain. That's the best, uh, you know, like, um, uh, I would not say best, but a easier route, because there might be one way or the other, those persons, and most likely they might be responding to you well. All right. But that's not always the case. You might want to, look outside of your network, and, in that scenarios, it might be a bit more difficult, but it is pretty much doable. But then the question is that how do we find those people who are outside of our network? Whom do we know that, should be reaching out, who can mentor us? And for that, I have few specific tips, and, AWS specific, there are programs, and I'm sure you all must be aware of that, whether it is AWS Heroes, whether it is AWS Ambassador Partner Program, or AWS Community Builders Directory, right? And we will look into each of these in a moment, to dive deep more and see how we can shortlist a specific, members whom we can reach out, right? So, but yeah, before I switch into, the browser and start doing that, here are the few resources. The first two are the articles through which I've taken those screenshots, and the next three are the links for the Heroes Program, Ambassadors Program, and the Communities Builder Program. Between these three, I think you'll be finding enough individuals whom you can reach out, so that they can help you with your AWS cloud journey. Okay, with that said, let me open a browser and open the Heroes Program. So AWS Heroes are communities, are people who actually, are experts in their fields, or, or are specialized in their specific fields. And we have multiple categories, like they are general community heroes, uh, container heroes who are more specialized containers, or, data or dev tools, or IoT and machine learning and serverless. There are multiple categories, right? And now this is where you need to think about whom you would like to be your mentor, or what your career direction is, that whether you where you would like to build your, career. And accordingly you can start shortlisting your, members. Obviously there are categories here, so you can select the specific categories of whom you do want to be, and in case if you do not have a general direction right now, generally that happens, like I need help in identifying the direction, in which direction I should be going, then go for community heroes, right? But in case if you are crystal clear that, you want to build your career in, let's say, data analytics, then go for data analytics, or, you're interested in serverless, go for serverless or machine learning, and so on and so forth, right? But once you're shortlisted that, then location, I would say, matters a bit, uh, in terms of, if you are able to find someone who is local, then you might be able to find someone whom you can ask for a in-person coffee, right? So, or, once I was having a conversation with one of the leader in my organization, and they said that, uh, and we were having this conversation about the whole career growth, and we were the conversation, while discussing, also shifted to be how mentors can help us. And he shared a very interesting perspective, that he always tries to have a mentor in completely different geographical region, because to get more perspectives, that person obviously wants to be a more global leader, right, eventually. So he shared with me that, having a mentor from altogether different location might help in getting different perspectives. And then that's an interesting angle. I've never thought about that. I always thought it should be, I would be able, it's better if I find someone who is nearby, so that I can bump into that person probably at some, a networking event or something like that. So yeah, depending upon, what your aspiration is, you can think about shortlisting it further. And then I like this particular one, that, uh, hero sense. though it doesn't matter much, but it's a good way to browse, right? And there's superpowers, and I like this because this is where you can think about, what do you want to become, like, if you want to become like a public speaker, then probably you might want to have someone who is a conference speaker, or if you want to write something, or so on and so forth, right? Like, and while giving back to the community section, we will be talking about, like, open source contributions. So if you're interested in that, like if you're interested in creating your GitHub profile or something like that, then open source contributor, so on and so forth. And once you have shortlisted, right, obviously you'll be having a list. It'll be a long list. If you see, like, you have n number of heroes here, then try and understand about them more before reaching out to them directly. And the good part is that we have this list, and in this list, I'm just clicking on anyone, like, randomly learn more, right? I'll be able to understand about that person. I'll be able to connect with that person. And like, here we are on LinkedIn, but if that particular person has any blog or something, even that would be listed. So you'll be able to understand the person in, like, and when I click on connect, it'll either take me to the LinkedIn page or the Twitter page, right? And then you can connect with that person, you can follow that person for some time, look at the previous post, understand what their likes and dislikes, understand what their journey has been. Obviously, LinkedIn is awesome in terms of understanding what their journey is. For example, this particular person seems to be a public speaker, right? um, in Melbourne, and you'll be able to understand, like, at how experienced they are, what has been their journey. And this is where you need to find it takes time, it takes some good time to shortlist those people and go through their profiles to understand who is a better fit. Like, you might, like, I started myself as a .NET developer, and then I became a .NET lead and architect and a cloud solutions architect, right? And if you are, let's say, in a similar journey that you started as something like .NET developer, then probably you might reach out, saying that, hey Prasad, I, like, a CEO journey of becoming from a .NET developer to a cloud solutions architect, I'm on a similar path, maybe probably you can share some tips and tricks. So you need to understand where you are, find the person who have been able to make that journey, and then accordingly reach out to the person with some personalized message, seeing that, like, you have interest in their profile also, rather than just interested in getting what you need, right? So and that's really helpful. And let's see if we can find some other example. You want to click on someone else, like Serbia here, right? The person is from Serbia. And so, yeah, so if you see, the person has a lot of, I can understand this serverless. So let me click this. Hmm, not reachable. Let's click on other serverless expressions with Node.js. Seems like the person might be an author. Okay, that's awesome, right? Alexander. Yeah, person is an author. So now you know about the person, right? It's like, you think about, if you are something like serverless, then you can probably, like, look into the book and so on and so forth. So it's more like, try to understand about that person, know more about that person, follow them for some time to, like, understand their journey, and then accordingly devise a way to reach out to them. And then it will be all back to, once you identified those person, then, like, ask for that initial meeting, send that like a concise but a meaningful message to them. Then once you have that meeting, like, follow up, nurture the relationship, and maintain that relationship. So that's the whole process. Similarly, we have ambassadors, we have community builders. So ambassadors are the people who are like AWS champs within our partners, AWS partner network. But yeah, they're also a great people whom you can reach out. Community builders is again an awesome program in which people from the community are encouraged to join AWS community builder, and then they are given resources and, like, ways to enhance their skills. So if anyone who has been a community builder for like some considerable time, then probably you can think about reaching out to them and uh, yeah, just ask them that, you also interested in becoming a community builder, and try and understand their journey, that how they become a community builder and join that network. So probably they can share some tips and tricks, and that's how you can start that relationship journey with that particular person. Frankly, that's pretty much that I have. Hopefully this was helpful